Landman quietly proves something important about Taylor Sheridan as a storyteller. He doesn't need extreme tragedy, shock deaths, or constant devastation to tell compelling family drama. For years, Sheridan's work has been associated with loss as a narrative engine. Families torn apart by violence, generational trauma sealed by blood, and relationships defined by irreversible damage. That approach works, but Landman shows it isn't the only one he's capable of, and arguably not the most interesting. What makes Landman stand out is that its family conflict isn't driven by catastrophe, it's driven by pressure. No one needs to die for the tension to feel real. No single event detonates the family dynamic. Instead, stress accumulates slowly, the way it does in real life. Financial instability, emotional distance, professional compromise, and unspoken resentment do the work that tragedy usually does in Sheridan's earlier shows. Tommy Norris's family life is strained not because of one defining disaster, but because he's always absent in ways that don't feel dramatic in the moment. He's exhausted, distracted, and emotionally unavailable. That kind of absence doesn't make headlines, but it corrodes relationships just as effectively as trauma. Landman understands that erosion can be more compelling than explosion. Angela is the clearest example of this shift. She isn't reacting to a single traumatic incident. She's reacting to years of feeling sidelined, unheard, and forced to adapt to Tommy's choices without ever being fully consulted. Her frustration doesn't come out as grief. It comes out as impatience, defensiveness, and contradiction. That's a more subtle emotional palette than Sheridan usually plays with, and it works because it feels earned. The same goes for Ainsley. Her distance from Tommy isn't the result of a singular betrayal. It's the result of accumulation, missed moments, broken promises, and a parent who's physically present but mentally elsewhere. Landman resists the urge to turn her into a tragic figure. Instead, it lets her be confused, irritated, and searching for autonomy. That choice makes the family dynamic feel contemporary rather than mythic. In shows like Yellowstone, family drama often escalates through irreversible acts. Lines are crossed, blood is spilled, and relationships are defined by who survives. That creates intensity, but it also locks characters into fixed positions. Once someone becomes the betrayer or the martyr, there's little room left to explore who they might have been under different circumstances. Landman takes the opposite approach. It keeps its characters in motion. Conflicts don't end, they evolve. Arguments don't resolve cleanly, they resurface in new forms. That's much closer to how real families operate. People don't usually implode because of one tragedy. They drift apart because no one addresses the small fractures soon enough. Another key difference is restraint. Landman trusts silence. Some of its most effective family moments happen in what isn't said, awkward pauses, half-finished sentences, conversations that circle the truth without landing on it. Sheridan's earlier work often relied on confrontation to move relationships forward. Here, avoidance does just as much narrative work. This restraint also allows the show to avoid melodrama. There's pain, but it isn't aestheticized. There's anger, but it isn't theatrical. When family members clash, it feels uncomfortable rather than operatic. That discomfort is the point. It forces the audience to sit with unresolved tension instead of being released by tragedy. What Landman ultimately proves is that Sheridan understands something deeper now. Tragedy can shortcut emotion, but it can also flatten it. When everything is catastrophic, nothing feels personal. By scaling back the tragedy, Landman allows its family drama to feel intimate. The stakes are smaller on paper but heavier emotionally. The show also benefits from letting responsibility replace victimhood. No one in Tommy's family can fully claim innocence, but no one is irredeemable either. That moral grayness is where Landman thrives. Instead of asking who's right or wrong, it asks who's paying the price, and whether that price is sustainable. This approach also makes the drama more durable. Tragedy is finite. Pressure is ongoing. Landman can continue exploring family tension without constantly needing to raise the stakes through loss. It can deepen relationships rather than reset them. That gives the show longevity without escalation fatigue. In the end, Landman feels like a writer trusting his characters more than his shocks. Taylor Sheridan doesn't abandon intensity, he refines it. He lets family drama come from proximity, compromise, and emotional neglect rather than disaster. And by doing so, he proves that the most powerful stories don't always require tragedy. Sometimes they just require honesty. That's not just a tonal shift for Sheridan. It's growth.